It's the middle of the afternoon. You blink and it doesn't help. There's a feeling in your eyes like fine sand, not pain exactly, more like grit caught under the lids. You reach for the little bottle on the desk. You tilt your head back. You squeeze. And for about 10 minutes, relief. Then the sandy feeling creeps back, and your hand goes to the bottle again. By evening, your eyes feel tired in a way that has nothing to do with sleep. The small print on a pill bottle takes 2 tries to read. Headlights on the drive home throw little halos. The television blurs at the edges, and you find yourself rubbing your eyes, which somehow makes it worse. And in the back of your mind, a quiet question. Is this just getting older? Or is something actually wrong? It's not unusual for someone in their late 60s to keep 3 bottles of drops going at once, one by the bed, one in the car, one by the kitchen sink, and still feel sand under the lids by 3 o'clock. If that's you, I want you to hear something clearly, right now, before we go one step further. You are not imagining it, and you are very likely treating it in a way that was never going to work, not because you did anything wrong, but because almost no one has ever drawn you the picture of where dry, gritty eyes actually come from. So let me draw it for you. The standard appointment doesn't have time for this. I do. More than 16 million adults in the United States have been diagnosed with dry eye. Millions more live with it and have never put a name to it. And the numbers climb steeply after the age of 50. Most of those people are doing exactly what you're doing. They are putting drops onto the surface of the eye. And for most of them, the drops help for a few minutes and then quit. I'm going to tell you why. The drop in your hand is aimed at the wrong layer of your own tears. Stay with that for a second, because it's the whole video. You have been treating the surface of the problem. The cause is sitting one layer deeper in a place you've probably never looked, made by a part of your body you almost certainly don't know you have. And once you can see it, you can finally do something that actually holds. This is part of a bigger pattern I keep coming back to. Hear how the aging body manages moisture, the things it's meant to hold on to and the things it's meant to move out. If that's an area you're working through, I've put together a companion guide called The Drainage Protocol, and the link is in the description below. You don't need it for tonight. Everything I'm about to explain is yours, free, right here. Most people picture a tear as just salt water. It isn't. A healthy tear is built in 3 layers, stacked like coats of paint on a wall. And the layer that decides whether your eyes feel fine or feel like sandpaper is the thinnest one of all. Let me give you the picture I want you to carry for the rest of this video. Imagine 2 bowls of water left out on your kitchen counter overnight. The first is plain water. By morning, the level has dropped. Some of it has simply escaped into the air it evaporated. Now picture the second bowl, identical in every way, except that before bed, you floated 1 teaspoon of oil across the top. In the morning, that second bowl is still nearly full. That thin skin of oil sealed the surface and stopped the water underneath from escaping. Your eyes are supposed to be the second bowl. Every time you blink, your eyelids spread a microscopically thin film of oil across the surface of your tears. That oil is what keeps your tears from evaporating in the open air between one blink and the next. When the oil film is healthy, your tears last. They stay put. Your eyes feel quiet. When that oil film breaks down, your eyes become the first bowl. They dry out in the open air, blink after blink, no matter how much water you pour in. And here's the part that changes everything. The drops most people buy are water. You are pouring more water into the first bowl. You are never replacing the oil. If this is the kind of explanation your last eye appointment didn't have time for, subscribe. I go one mechanism deeper every week, and I think this one is going to stay with you. Now, one honest thing while we're here. There isn't much money in telling you to warm a washcloth and eat a sardine. The money is in the next bottle. That's not a conspiracy. It's just where the attention goes. So let me give you the attention the appointment couldn't. Before we go further, the part I will never skip. Dry, gritty eyes are usually harmless and they are very treatable. But a few signs are not harmless, and they mean you stop and you call a doctor. Sudden, severe eye pain. A sudden change in your vision or vision loss in one eye. Strong sensitivity to light along with deep redness. Thick discharge or one eye that is dramatically worse than the other. And one combination people miss completely. Dry eyes, together with a dry mouth, together with aching joints. That cluster can point to an autoimmune condition called Sjogren's syndrome. You say it, Sjogren's, where the body's own immune system turns on its own moisture glands. That is not something to manage with a drugstore bottle. That is a same-week appointment. If any of that is you, pause the video here and go. The fish will wait, your eyes might not. For everyone else, let's find out why your eyes went dry in the first place. Run your fingertip gently along the rim of your lower eyelid, right where the lashes begin. You are touching the openings of a row of tiny oil glands. There are roughly 25 to 40 of them packed into your upper eyelid alone, and a row more below. Their name is the meibomian glands, say it meibomian, and their entire job, their only job, is to make the oil for that top layer. The oil they make is a soft, waxy substance called meibum, and it floats on the surface of your tears like the film on the second bowl. Here is how it's supposed to work. Every blink does two things at once. The lid sweeps fresh tears across the eye, like a wiper across a windshield. And at the same time, the blink gives those little glands a gentle squeeze picture, pressing a tube of toothpaste 1 millimeter at a time, pushing a fresh ribbon of warm oil up onto the tear surface. Blink, sweep, oil. Blink, sweep, oil. All day, without your permission. When the oil is healthy, it's thin and clear, like warm olive oil. It spreads in a smooth, even sheet. But here is where age changes the story. Over the years, and especially under inflammation, that oil thickens. It goes from clear and runny to cloudy and stiff. Think of olive oil left in the back of the fridge, gone cloudy and slow. Thick oil doesn't flow. It clogs the gland opening, and a clogged gland makes even less oil, which lets in more inflammation, which thickens the oil further. It's a slow loop that tightens on itself over years. That condition has a name. Meibomian gland dysfunction, the glands dysfunctioning. It is the single most common cause of dry eye, and it produces what doctors call the evaporative type. Evaporative simply means this: there's plenty of water in your tears, but without a good oil seal, that water evaporates too fast. Your eyes dry between blinks. There's a way to measure this, and it has a plain English name: tear breakup time. It's exactly what it sounds like: how many seconds your tear film holds together after a blink, before it starts to break apart into dry patches. A healthy film holds for 10 seconds or more. In evaporative dry eye, it can break in 2 or 3, and every time it breaks, the nerves underneath fire off the same message: grit, sting, burn. Now, here comes the strangest part, and I promise it explains something that has confused you for years. Some of you are thinking, but Laura, my eyes water. They run. How can a watering eye be a dry eye? This is the reveal almost nobody gets told. When the surface of your eye dries out and starts to sting, your eye does what any alarm does. It floods. It triggers a wave of emergency tears. But those reflex tears are mostly water, dumped out fast, with no proper oil layer and no time to seal. So they pour over the lid and spill down your cheek, and they fix nothing. Your watering eye and your gritty eye are the same eye. The watering is the alarm. The dryness is the fire. So why does all of this land so hard after 50? A few reasons stack up. Hormones shift. After menopause, the body's level of certain hormones that keep those oil glands productive drops, and the meibum quality falls with it. That's a real physical change, not as we age, but specifically that. Medications dry you out. Antihistamines for allergies, some blood pressure medicines, especially water pills, certain antidepressants. They all tend to turn down the body's moisture taps, eyes included. I am not telling you to stop a single one of them. I'm telling you to know they're in the picture, so you can have an informed conversation with the doctor who prescribed them. And then there's modern life. We blink less than half as often when we read or stare at a screen, and many of those blinks are partial, where the lid never fully closes. No full blink, no full squeeze, no fresh oil. Add dry indoor heating and air conditioning, and the bowl on the counter is sitting in front of a fan. So, where does the fatty fish finally come in? The oil your glands make is not built from nothing. It's built partly from the fats you eat. And the fats most useful for that delicate oily layer belong to a family called omega-3 fatty acids, specifically two members of that family, EPA and DHA. which are the active forms your body uses most directly. The richest source of those two, by a wide margin, is fatty fish. Now I'm going to do something most videos in this corner of the internet won't do. I'm going to tell you the honest truth about the evidence, including the part that doesn't flatter the fish. The largest and most carefully run trial on this question is called the DREAM study. It was published in the New England Journal of Medicine in 2018, and it followed 535 people with moderate to severe dry eye for a full year. And it found that omega-3 supplements were no better than a placebo. I'm not going to hide that from you. If anyone tells you fish oil is a proven dry eye cure, they are ahead of the science. But that is not the end of the story, and here's why it matters for you specifically. Several later reviews, pooling thousands of patients across many studies, still found a modest benefit, better tear stability, less grittiness, and the signal was strongest in exactly the group we've been describing this whole time, the evaporative oil layer meibomian gland type. In other words, the benefit, where it shows up, hides precisely where your problem most likely lives. The mechanism makes sense too. Omega-3 fats are anti-inflammatory, and they may improve the actual quality of the oil your glands produce. Thinner, clearer, better at sealing. So here is the honest framing, the one a careful, unhurried doctor would give you. Fatty fish may help support the oil layer of your tears. It is not a cure, and it is not faster than a drop for instant relief. A drop wins on speed every single time. What fish may do is something a drop cannot do at all. It can slowly feed the raw material your oil glands are built from. A drop patches the surface for 10 minutes. The fish works underneath, over weeks. They are not even competing. They're doing two different jobs, and you've only been doing one of them. Which brings me to the myth I most want to break tonight. If the drops don't work, nothing will. That's not true. The drops didn't work because they were the wrong tool for an oil problem. The right tools are warmth, blinking, and the fats that build the oil, and not one of those is in that bottle. Now, the part you can actually do tonight, in your own bathroom, with nothing but a mirror and a clock. These are clues, not diagnoses. An eye doctor confirms it properly. But these will tell you which direction you're facing. The first one, the blink and hold. Sit comfortably and look straight ahead. Blink once, fully. Then, hold your eyes open and count slowly in your head. Mark the second your eyes first sting, blur, or beg you to blink. If that happens in under 10 seconds, your tear film is breaking up fast. And that fast breakup is the fingerprint of the evaporative oil layer type we've been talking about. The second the mirror look, lean into good light, close to the glass. Look at the very edge of your lower lid, the strip where the lashes meet the skin. Healthy gland openings are smooth and clear. Now look for tiny capped bumps along that rim. A foamy or greasy film, redness, or little crusts at the base of the lashes. Those are signs the oil glands are clogged or the lid rim is inflamed, a condition called blepharitis, which simply means inflammation of the eyelid edge. The third, the drop timer. The next time you use a drop, glance at the clock. If it gives you 10 or 15 minutes of comfort and then the grit comes back, that short window is the answer. A short window means evaporation. Your eye isn't short on water. It's short on the seal that keeps the water there. The fourth, the pattern question. Ask yourself, are my eyes worse in the evening, in wind, near a fan or a vent, or after a long stretch on a screen? Evaporative dry eye tracks with moving air and with time of day. It gets worse as the afternoon wears on. If instead your eyes are bone dry all day, every hour, and your mouth is dry too, that points somewhere else, and you go back to the red flags we covered. Write your answers down. Bring them to your eye doctor. You will have done half of their work before you sit in the chair. Now the part that fixes it. And the order matters because you fix the oil first, before you expect the water to stay. Step 1 is warmth. Heat is the key that unlocks a clogged oil gland, because thickened meibum melts and flows the moment it's warmed. Take a clean cloth, run it under warm water, and hold it gently over your closed eyes for about 10 minutes, once a day. Warm, not hot. It should feel comfortable on the soft inside of your wrist. A microwaved cloth cools off within a minute or two. So many people prefer a reusable eye mask that holds its heat. This single step, done daily, does more than any drop you can buy. Step 2 is gentle clearing. Right after the warmth, while the oil is soft and movable, use a clean fingertip to massage gently along the lid toward the lashes, or use a soft pre-made lid wipe. You're coaxing the loosened oil out of the glands you just warmed. Gentle, you are not scrubbing, you are persuading. Step 3 is to blink on purpose. This one is free, and almost nobody does it. Every 20 minutes when you're reading or on a screen, look away into the distance and take 5 slow, complete blinks, squeezing the lids fully shut each time, like a slow, deliberate wink with both eyes. Each full blink is a fresh squeeze of oil and a fresh sweep of tears. Partial blinks don't count. The full close is the whole point. Step 4 is to feed the oil. 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish a week: salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, anchovies, trout, starting with your next grocery trip. If you and your doctor decide a supplement makes sense for you, the forms research has leaned on are the higher EPA and the re-esterified types, which the body absorbs more readily. But food comes first. A real meal beats a capsule. Step 5 is to protect the water you do have. Move the fan, the vent, the air conditioner, so it isn't blowing straight at your face. That single change surprises people. Add a little humidity to dry rooms, especially in winter. Take real breaks from the screen. And keep using your drops, but now you understand their actual job. They are the surface patch that buys you comfort while the warmth, the blinking, and the fish do the slow repair underneath. One thing though, if you find yourself using drops more than 3 or 4 times a day, ask your pharmacist for a preservative-free kind. The preservative in some bottles can irritate the very surface you're trying to soothe. And step 6 is the hardest one. Give it time. This is weeks, not days. Those oil glands turn over slowly, and the diet works slowly with them. 8 to 12 weeks of the full routine is a fair test of whether it's helping you. And please do not stop any prescription, including any medicine that might be drying your eyes, without talking to the doctor who prescribed it. Some of those medicines matter far more than the dryness does. That's a conversation, not a decision to make alone in front of a video. If you do nothing else, do these 5 things tonight. 1. Warm a clean, damp cloth and hold it gently over your closed eyes for 10 minutes. 2. The moment you take it off, do 5 slow, full blinks, squeezing all the way shut each time. 3. Move whatever is blowing air at your face out of the line of fire fan, vent, the open car dashboard, all of it. 4. Put fatty fish on your grocery list for this week. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, your choice. 5. If you reach for drops more than 3 or 4 times a day, switch to a preservative-free bottle. That's the whole start. 5 things, none of them hard, and not one of them is the thing you've been doing. Before you go, one thing I ask of everyone, and it genuinely shapes what I make next. Tell me your age in the comments. Are you in your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, or beyond? I ask because those oil glands behave differently in every decade. They shift after menopause, and they shift again later in life, and knowing who is actually watching tells me which of these signs to put first the next time I sit down. So drop your decade below. I read them. Here's what I want you to walk away with tonight. The grit in your eyes was probably never a water problem. It was an oil problem. And the drop in your hand was aimed one layer too shallow at the surface when the cause was sitting just underneath, in glands you didn't know you had. That isn't your fault. Nobody ever drew you the picture. Now you have it, the 2 bowls on the counter, and that thin film of oil that decides whether your tears last the whole afternoon or evaporate by lunch. So warm the glands. Blink like you mean it. Feed the oil and be patient while it works. And let the drops go back to being what they always were, a patch for the moment, not a cure for the cause. Your eyes have been asking for the right kind of help for a long time. Starting tonight, you finally know how to give it to them. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself.